Hello and welcome to today's video. I am so excited because we're going to be living inside of Interview with the Vampire for the next couple days. We're going to read the book and then watch the movie. I'm also excited for the show, and we will then be talking about which one's better. I often find that it's so hard to beat the book, but sometimes the film adaptation does end up being slightly better. So I'm excited to see how the book is in comparison to the movie because I know that they are both so widely loved. So I'm excited to get to experience it for the first time. I have somehow walked through my life with my eyes closed and my ears closed because I do not know anything about this book or this movie or the story in general. We're gonna find out together. I got to page 25 this morning, and so far, as you may assume by the title, there's a vampire being interviewed, and so far he's told the story of how he turned into a vampire. What I'm getting from it is that the whole book will be the interview. I don't know 100%, but I'm pretty sure that's what's gonna happen. So it seems like the whole book is an interview. I will let you know if I'm wrong. So far, I am really loving it. I'm loving the writing style. It's told in an interview format, but somehow it's still so engaging. It feels like I'm right there on the edge of my seat, and I'm loving it. It is so descriptive, and it has you feeling that eerie feeling that I'm sure everyone is looking for when they pick up a book about a vampire. So I'm excited to get back into this. I'm thinking we'll just spend the weekend inside this world, read the book, watch the movie all within the same weekend is the plan. So I'm going to get to reading and I will talk to you guys soon. Halfway through now. I'm on page 161 and I definitely have thoughts. I definitely have things to say. Number one is I am really loving how descriptive the writing is. I feel like we are really getting to experience the senses of being a vampire. The way that the vampire's experiences are described are just in so much more detail than I've ever experienced before. They're showing the way that the vampires are experiencing life as something that is just completely different than the human experience, and I'm finding that quite interesting, and it is giving that eerie feeling to the book. I also like that we're getting the very dark and terrible sides of being a vampire at the same time as having our main character still hanging on to his human life and his human thoughts, and seeing the contrast between the life of a vampire and then also still struggling with all of the questions that people have as being a human is very cool, and seeing these questions kind of being discussed from the eyes of a vampire is quite interesting. I love that aspect to it. Second thing is that I really see the influence that this has had on so many of the movies and TV shows and books I have read that have come after it, and I'm sure that if I read Dracula, I would also see how this book that I'm currently reading has been influenced by Dracula. So it's very cool seeing that. I definitely see the inspiration that certain books and movies have taken from it, especially having the one vampire who is just so terrible deep in his vampire mind and has no human life left in him, and then the other one who is still grappling with the morality of what vampires have to do and how they live. I feel like I see that a lot in shows with vampires, like the good and the bad vampire. But the third thing, unfortunately, I am hating reading about the children. There are so many children that are brought up in this book. There's only a few, but it feels like so many because it is just so utterly disturbing reading about the way these children are talked about, and them feeding on the children. It is so disgusting and it's so terrible. One of the children, a 5-year-old girl, is described often as being sensual, and just the way that they're describing these children and the way that they're wanting these children, yeah, it's hard to read. I could go without that, definitely 100% could go without that, but overall I'm enjoying it. The story is also picking up a lot, and there are lots of twists and turns, lots of shocks. You will be shocked. The life of a vampire is not boring. Last thing I want to say for this update is, with all the stuff with the children, I am so curious as to how they're going to show that in a movie. And there's a main character in this that's a child, a 5-year-old child, and I'm so curious as how that is going to be shown in the movie. I can't even imagine this big of a character being played as a child. So I'm very intrigued to see how that's gonna go. I will see you when it's movie time. I wanted to get some vampire themed snacks for the movie viewing tonight, and then I realized that they don't eat, so we have our blood for the night. I finished the book and I ended up really enjoying it. It was so dark and surprisingly sad and strangely philosophical, and I really enjoyed it. I knew I was gonna like it, but not to this extent. It was just so sad. Like, by the end I was so extremely sad, and I feel like I have not read or watched anything that portrayed vampirism in this way, and the idea of a vampire just makes so much more sense in this setting. So I really liked it, and I'm excited for the movie. Extremely first impression, like, it literally just started. I love it. Like, I'm getting chills. I have so much anticipation going into it because I know the story, and I'm already loving the music and how it's being filmed. I'm so excited. Book is finished, movie is finished. Let's have our final chat. I found the movie to be very interesting. I felt like I was watching a play because it was so theatrical with the sets and the costumes, and also with the acting. A lot of the scenes felt a little bit silly and over the top, but I find that often happens a lot of the times in movies, especially in movies where there is supernatural beings and a lot of very dramatic scenes being acted out. I would say that's the main difference between the movie and the book for me, because the book, even when the vampires are jumping really fast or running really fast or just a dramatic scene happens, it doesn't seem as silly when you read it, but when you see real humans acted out, it just happens. And I find it often takes me out of the movie and what the movie and the story is trying to make us think about. But I did enjoy it regardless, and sometimes I do love how silly it kind of comes out. There were some scenes that I was disappointed that weren't in the movie that I felt to be very important to the story and to our character's development. So that sucks, but I heard that the TV show didn't cut anything out, so I might have to check that out. I enjoyed both. I think that I enjoyed the movie as much as I did because I already read the book. In the book, you get so many details and you get to know the characters so well and understand why they do what they do, and all of their inner battles are just a lot more detailed in the book. So having that background and then getting to watch it play out on screen with actors and the music and all of the visuals and the sets, it was very cool. And one couldn't exist without the other. Experience that you have when they both go together, it is just something else. If you haven't read the book and watched the movie, I would recommend doing both, reading the book and then watching the movie. But if you are choosing between the two, then definitely book all the way. There's just so much that I think that I wouldn't be able to understand as deeply if I just watched the movie. And I also don't think that that is specific to this movie. I find that happens a lot because you do get so much more details. You do get to get inside of their head in lots of books, and in the movies you almost know what they're thinking in certain scenes even if they're not speaking it, because you've already been inside of their heads and you know what they're currently battling with, which is also kind of cool. You get like a behind the scenes, a little inside scoop if you read the book. So in conclusion, I did enjoy the book more, but the experience of watching the movie after the book is top tier. It is top tier. So if you have time on your hands and you are interested in vampires and gothic books and movies, I would highly recommend. I have had so much fun filming this video. I'm definitely going to do another one of these because the back-to-back book and film it's incredible. It's incredible. We're doing it again. Thank you again for watching today's video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!